It's going live. All right.
Mystery D, you start bitching and the squeaky wheel gets the fucking grease, dude.
What's going on, Tank? I know it's not late. See, and people notice when it's not late because I am always. Oh, Christ.
No pre-show countdown today. No pre-show countdown today, boys.
Nope, not today. You know, with everything that's going on with the pandemic, I am relinquished to working from home until further notice, which means that during the week, you know, I've got more exposure to the family and all that. So instead of just being bored and really waiting for this to happen, I kind of like have stuff going on right up until. So I don't mind.
I know. I've been sitting in here just waiting. I didn't even realize what time it was.
Well, and I knew it was getting close to that time, but it did sneak up on me a little bit. But tonight was a good night because, as Chris told you, over the weekend I had a hell of a toothache going on, and I've been eating minimally because it's not fun to eat, you know, with that pressure. And today's the first day, and I say day, I didn't try my luck earlier today. I was saving it all up for dinner. I thoroughly enjoyed dinner with no pain.
Yeah, he was teasing us with pictures of his pre-cooked dinner. What was it, beef ribs?
So I made a rack of beef ribs, some hamburgers, hot dogs, and hot Italian sausage with asparagus and macaroni and cheese.
Oh, this ain't a porn show, bro. Be careful.
Yeah, well, you couldn't tell by the way the beef ribs were lubricated. I did them in the oven today because working from home, I couldn't be babysitting the grill, and it's easier just to stick the oven on, put them in, and let them go for 4 hours, you know, without having to babysit them. But because of that, they kind of marinate and they steep in their own fat, which is good. But they're a little bit better when that renders off into the cold. I know, right?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no apologies. Oh, so this is dude, that's what we live for.
So this is the Corona Apocalypse edition.
Yeah, and it probably will be for the next 2 months. So
yeah, as me and Josh get skinnier and skinnier because we didn't buy no food.
That ain't happening. If you think I'm getting thinner, it's just because the beard's getting longer. And Chuck's into his summer do.
Right.
Well, you didn't do a summer do last year, so.
Well, I had to grow the damn thing first, man. Jesus.
Oh, got you. What's going on, Raymond? Well, we're going to see what we can do to avoid that, Crystal, but if it happens, we'll handle it. Chuck was just filling me in on the bullshit going on.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, the person under suspicion is blocked from this channel completely.
Yep, because you know how we roll. Shut it down and don't acknowledge it normally, but we'll acknowledge it a little bit in here.
But I think he can still watch. So guess what, Big R?
Try it. Good luck. I tell you what, if you get us shut down, then we'll take that one. We come back and you do it again, then it's going to be a pain in the ass. So, yeah, sorry to hear you guys are having some drama, but just let it roll, you know. Remember, when somebody takes the time to do something mean to you, it's because they are extremely unhappy with themselves. It usually has little to do with the person they're going after. And if nothing else, just find solace in the fact that this person is so unhappy that he cannot get you guys out of his mind. That, to me, sounds like a win. So, anyway. Yeah, what's going on, Noid? So you guys, have we had anybody in our circle turn up positive for the virus yet? not just in our inner circle, anybody here watching or anything, because I'll tell you where we're at, it's been a very, very small number of people confirmed so far. Now, obviously, it's going to balloon from here, but I'm catching up. That's why I don't usually try to read chat, but I figured I'd try something different tonight. Okay. Yeah, the majority of people that I've been talking to are, oh, okay, so it's starting there in Mystery Deville.
Oh, Jesus. A 2-year-old. That's new.
Yeah. They've done something similar here. They have called off school for the next, well, this week and then the following 2 weeks. And they're playing it on a day-by-day basis, meaning they're going to reevaluate weekly or bi-weekly or whatever as to how things are going and whether they're ready to reopen. As I mentioned, my job has done the same thing. Now, I travel for work, as you guys who are typically in here know. And what they did last week, when we got home Thursday, we had an emergency meeting, and they said, when you get home this week, you stay home from now on. So, of course, we all looked stupid like, what about next week? And they're like, cancel your plans, and for the week after that, and for the week after that, and anything else you have, cancel them. You are to stay home until further notice. So,
Hey, real quick, I just want to say, like, we were sort of just talking about it, but Crystal Justice is having somebody screw with her channel. Anybody that doesn't have her subbed, you can see her name is still in the chat right there. Go ahead and click on that and give her a sub just for some support, please.
you know what? I agree with that. Likewise, I'm going to go visit RDFPV. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Oh, Jesus.
Time to unsub. Yeah, so anyway, these guys know, because we've been kicking it around even privately, like for the last week and a half solid, this coronavirus shit. And honestly, I'm burnt out on it.
Yeah, I'm ready to go fly, dude. Take advantage of this empty corporate centers everywhere, bro.
Yes.
Who is excited about that shit? Tell me.
Yes.
Except
That's
for
where I
Raz.
was kind of going with all this, are, all the things that normally we can't get into either at all or only on a limited basis, though, should be becoming available, and you're going to want to take advantage of it while you can. I see Mr. D's already been out hitting some of the local schools he doesn't usually get to hit.
I got 3 fucking aliens to maiden, and I'm ready to hit some damn spots.
Yeah, Raz has been getting out too.
Raz blew up his freaking quad today. And wait, it wasn't his fault this time, dude. The homeboy he was flying with was plugged in and walked up next to him while he was diving like a 30-story building. Like in the middle of the dive, dude. So.
Oh, okay. I'm already unsubbed from Ryan, so. Because that's how we roll together. You mess with one, you mess with all.
Noob for life, bitches.
Noob for life.
Is that the sign?
You're right. It's hard to make an N with one hand.
I got it. Here's our sign, bro.
I'm down with that. You know what? That's a good idea. I know there's a few areas around us that, what's going on, J-Bo, that I've been aching to hit, and I'm really just waiting for the weather. Unfortunately, with my job, even though they don't want us at work or traveling, we are still working 40 hours a week, but from home. So I'm still limited on what I can do when, but.
Noid, what's up, big dog? For all you guys who literally just jumped in, man, I asked, hey, who is looking forward to going out to the corporate structures and flying the shit out of them since everybody's coronaed up at home? And we got the cities all to ourselves. Anybody that lives in a downtown needs to be out diving those fucking buildings right now or tomorrow.
We're not quite to that level of lockdown yet, but when it gets there, just like I was talking to the wife just now, I understand that there's going to be some level of social distancing that we want to maintain. But aside from some of the things that are more strictly enforced, I'm going to live life as usual and take advantage of a few things. Because look, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I am not becoming a hermit over this. I am not afraid of it.
Well, I'm stuck in a box pretty much 95% of the day anyway, so I'm pretty much good.
Yeah. Now, have you noticed work either picking up in some areas or dropping off, or are you just getting like weirder hours or weirder loads if they try to stay busy, or what have you noticed?
Well, I drive on a fleet that services a certain vendor. Well, that vendor announced today that they are closing their doors. But we are all going to be kept as we are. My pay is going to be the same in the same way and everything, so that's good. We're getting put on over the road. And there is such a demand for truck drivers right now, there is not going to be a problem with work soon.
Well, so that's why I was curious because my daughter works for a logistics company and she's always dealt with like the scheduling of trucks to come pick up loads, deliver, to do all what you do. And she said that there's been a huge drop off of available trucks. She said a lot of guys are going home until further notice. They don't care to be on the road. They don't want to try their chances. Or they've got something going on and they want to be there for, somebody who's come down ill, knowing that other people are. But one way or another, anyway, it's getting hard and it's getting expensive quick because the people that are running, they want top dollar.
Absolutely, and freight prices are rising, so people that own their own truck and are running the rates like that, they're making some serious cash right now.
So do you think you're going to have any longer haul stuff popping up or going to places that you don't normally visit?
Yes, that's exactly what's going to happen, and
Okay.
I am going to try and take advantage of that as much as I can into maybe seeing some spots that I'd like to get in the air in.
Nice.
Sidewinder.
That's what it's all about. I mean, life's always going to throw you curveballs of some kind, but you can either drink piss or make lemonade, right?
Ooh, pissy lemonade.
Hey, put enough lemon in it, it ain't piss anymore. What's going on, Night Train? Thanks for stopping in, brother.
What's up,
Boy, I tell you, I've
Sidewinder?
been
What's up,
walking
big
through
dog?
it. What's that?
I was saying, what's up to Sidewinder again? What's up, big dog?
I saw you putting on your bling.
Straight up. FTV bling, baby.
Tell you what, boy, I saw Michigan's governor fire at Trump. Trump said something about her doing a shitty job, and she said, well, if you would do something besides send tweets, maybe you could get something done.
Dude, I about freaking turned my grave. We'll stop with the politics very shortly. I'll say this one thing. MSNBC and CNN both said that this is the president we need right now, and everybody needs to support him. I about dropped dead. I was like, oh my God, no way. They did not say that.
They are interesting times.
Right?
Hang some toilet. Oh. Yeah, for you guys that don't know, Chuck doesn't use toilet paper. His hiney is too sensitive for that.
That's right. I get the good shit.
Although I have seen some funny stuff running around. I saw somebody share a picture that had a toilet paper tube with 3 toothpicks in it, like you would do with an avocado seed sitting in a glass of water. And then they said, that was last week. This week, and they showed some tubes they had put in the yard with a little piece of toilet paper flipping out of the top like it was growing.
I saw that one.
And they had said, how's everyone else's garden doing?
Later on, Craft King.
Luckily, one of our local chains did get some shipments of groceries in. And so even though things were looking sparse, if you I'll take your word for it. I just thought it was from all those years of having a chapped ass.
Yeah, you know it, man. I'm not a big burly asshole for a reason, you know.
Oh man. And that's me. I plan on making fun and light of the whole thing for the entire time.
So what's up? I want to know, are you guys building? Are you getting ready for the season, man? Because the days are upon us.
And
As soon
don't
as
we
some
know?
rain goes by, like it's FPV, it's season, bro. What are you guys doing?
Well, I'll tell you, we had a bang up kickoff to spring. The first weekend, not the Saturday that the time changed, but the weekend after that. Once a month, the Del Marva noobs meet up, and we've committed to just making that time to hang out and fly together. Well, eDrone found one hell of a spot, and it's one hell of a spot for a few reasons. One, it's got some interesting features and some interesting setup. Two, it's an entire corporate plaza. It's not one building or two buildings. It is somewhere between 9 and a dozen buildings. It's completely off limits. It's gated off so traffic can't go through. It's got some areas that are under renovation, so they've essentially ripped out all the old stuff and the buildings are kind of opened up. It's kind of like a cross between a Brando and a Bando. And so keep your eye open for some videos from eDrone, MD95, and myself, because I'll tell you what, we plan on going back while we can. It was a lot of fun. Those are things we don't get around here.
Yeah, there are actually a couple videos up on Chris's and Josh's channel up already on this place, and my God, I would kill my best friend to go fly there. Oh,
I'd
wait,
be down
that's
with it.
you.
I totally understand.
I was gonna say that's you. Sorry.
I know. But on top of that, so the last 2 years, I've been flying a platform based around the Hyperfloss and the AK-32. There you go. 3 is a good number. I feel like that's a nice rounded number.
That's exactly where I'm at right now. They're all fresh. None of them have been. Well, I flew one for like 2 minutes. So.
But yeah, so this year I switched up my platform a little bit. And the idea was that I had to be a little bit more budget conscious just because of some things going on in life. And, if the choice is go with more budget parts or stop flying, you know what that choice is. Budget parts, here I come. But I feel like there's a lot of good budget stuff available. So what I did was I went with the Mamba stack. I went with, which cut my stack expenses by half. Went with Sing E-Motors, which saves a solid $5 per motor, if not closer to $6. And I found them on some sales when I found them. So really, I was paying usually $12 or just under $12 per motor.
Which is crazy, and it's a good thing too, because Chris has shown that those things, they're good motors, but they don't take the real damage. He's been ripping them right off the arms.
Right. Well, I didn't expect them to be as good as the Primos. I just expected them to be better than the Samgooks.
Don't
they
take
are
much.
by and far better than those.
It doesn't take a lot.
And look, I took a chance based off of some speculation that I was able to confirm once I got my first ones in. If you take the stators, when you hold them, now obviously I can't verify that the materials are exactly the same, but when you hold them side by side, the layer thickness of the core and all that other stuff, the wire gauge, it all looks exactly the same. If you buy Primo bells and put them on the E stators, I'm pretty sure you've got a regular Sing motor.
Pretty sure that would be the cost of a regular Sing motor. So,
well, my point was that for $12 per motor, I can fly these until I bang up the bells. And then instead of buying a whole motor, I can just buy bells.
Don't know how to say this. Letterbuck. You're right about that. It'll be fun to destroy.
But this weekend, I got to really fly my first. So my new platform is also 6S. So I spent the day flying 6S. I still flew some 4S stuff too because I've got 8 batteries that are 6S, you know.
Tell me all about it, baby. Your
Well,
cherry's been popped.
well, it has. And I'll tell you, everybody else that gets all, you know, that it was super life changing, I don't feel that way. The way I feel is it's really cool to have that consistent, strong output from front to back. Now, when she goes all at once. But I'm only flying 1,000-mile packs because my goal wasn't to get more flight time. My goal was just to get those amps, you know? Yeah, there you go.
Same here.
So those things are actually smaller than most of the 4S batteries you can get, but output consistent amps from 25 down to 22 volts, you know, and I'm getting 4.5 minute flights.
Yeah, they are pretty much the same size and weight as an Adrenaline 1300 4S.
Yep. So I'm very happy, but I think what really wrapped it up, I went from a frame that's a slight stretch X back to a squashed X, started flying Chuck's frame of choice. Well, there's lots of good reasons, you know, to do it. And
yeah, and we're going to shut up about those reasons.
No. I'm not getting into them. I'm just going to say they're good reasons. And man, I tell you, I didn't realize I could have never anticipated how natural the Squash X feels for me. So you'll see when you watch my videos that here and there it probably looks a little like unsteady and all. And that's because, you know, I hadn't done any tuning. I hadn't done anything to that point other than set my rates. And throughout the day, it got a little better. But I was also trashing props left and right. I was not being gentle by any stretch of the imagination. And when I banged up props instead of changing them like I normally would, I was just like, screw it, fly. And some of my props were, you know, they looked like a gnarled, they looked like you were doing this with your fingers. They were just bent up, you know, missing blades, you name it. And I'm like, send it.
Yeah, let me just tell you how much of an understatement that whole rant was. He sends us a message saying, yeah, I'm basically Chinese starring this thing at the wall over and over and over again.
I was chucking it. You get to see it in some of the videos. Yep. Shit, I can't point with it backed up. So anyway, I'm very excited now. I mean, we had a bang-up day with, I mean, it was warm, it was comfortable, the sun was out, having the whole place to ourselves, no traffic, no workers, no people. And this was also a virgin spot. How often do you go to a place that has never been ripped before? So all the way around, our season kicked off with a bang. Yep, alien baby.
Yeah, my season hasn't kicked off at all yet. I'm got to get my ass over to Double A's house and pick up my Hero Session 8 mounts that the MD95 printed for me because he's the shit, and pick those up. And I've been holding back because I want to pretty much get used to these new quads with slightly bigger motors with the weight of that GoPro on there, and I'm not going to fuck with them till then.
I hear you. Nope, my goal, I mean, I have still a four, let me try that again. I still have 2 4S rigs, and even though I'm going to start flying the 6S, you know, I'm not going to not fly it. My goal is to really do the huck it around, beat it up stuff with my 4S, get them get my money's worth out of them, and then I'm fully committed to the 6. But I'm not going to prance around them, but I want to get to where I'm only flying 6S, so I get that consistent flight every time. Last year, I got a little bad about mixing up my parts as my budget changed. And so, you know, my batteries were different sizes and the motors were different sizes. And I really miss having every flight on every drone be exactly the same.
Yeah, I know. I that's where everyone should be, man. Consistency, 100%. Those 3 quads I showed you are, well, 2 of them are exactly the same. One of them is what I call my experimental. more details on that when it works.
Hey, later, Buck, you make a good point. And, MD95 has been real keen on the Tyro series. He hasn't had one that he didn't like yet, and he's flown everything from the micros up to the 7-inch that I'm aware of.
Yep. You can watch him build those on this channel. Actually, he's built one, I think, and his channel as well.
Yep, he has. He's done one or two of the builds on the Tyros on the Chop Shop. So if you want to see that, they both only took about an hour. Those ones did go fast. Yeah, 6S Apex. I've seen a lot of that.
Ooh, that 4.5 alien. That's my jam, baby.
I don't have any experience with it, but with the cost difference of the Apex versus some of the other options out there, I'll stick with my option. Oh, Watson's in the house. 5-inch alien for life. This guy can't get off of it.
Yes, Jeff. I got my quad built.
So I've got two together right now. I have a 6-inch alien that just needs, a receiver put in or something, then it's ready. And then my goal is to get one more alien built. But for that, I'm going to take my 6S components out of one of the 4S's. So
Doc
it
just
won't
don't.
be
Hey,
a straight up clone, but it'll be close.
Doc Watson just doesn't know what's up, man. You got to get down with that 4.5, baby.
It's what we were just saying, E-Drone.
All the bonuses, none of the drawbacks, baby.
And if you're lucky, you get a zombie horde to fly around. 4.5 watts. So this guy stumbled across somebody that, or I'll say there's some people that have mixed up the different alien size parts. So, alien has a micro. Now, I'm going to skip that one for the sake of this conversation. They have a 4-inch, they have a 5-inch, they have a 6-inch. Okay. And then here and there, you can find some parts speckled, like, you can find 7-inch arms, blah, blah, blah. Right. But the 4, 5, and 6-inch, people have done some really interesting builds with those. So if you take a 4-inch body and put 5-inch arms on it, you get this, an Alien 4.5. Because the nose sticks out just a little less far, you actually get a lot more durability on the nose. But go ahead and flip it sideways. This is also a play on that because it is a slammed build. So instead of having that extra height where it's easier to bend the standoffs, you've reduced that height, and that also plays in huge for the flying characteristics. It really, like when you roll, instead of the thing kind of looping around the battery because it's more in line with the battery, it does a true roll or a true flip. So it's pretty cool. But you can take that 4-inch body and you can also put 6-inch arms on it if you want, or you can put 5-inch on the front and 6-inch on the back, which is a 4.5.6.
Which is what this is. Here's the 6-inch arms. Here's the 5-inch arms. We're going to see how it works. I don't think it's been done yet.
So Chuck is flying that to see if he really thinks that there's benefit or that he feels that the flying characteristics are different. We're waiting for him to get a good set of packs in before we grill him on it.
Annoyed. Actually, I think I already have a few picks on there, but if you would like some more, I'll throw them up, bro.
It's interesting what you can do with the 4, 5, and 6 variants of the Alien.
Yeah, I would never recommend the 6-inch body. That's just way too long.
I agree. As somebody who owns one, I can totally agree. But they were like $11 when I bought it. So
yeah. Impulse RC had a sale there going for a little bit that was selling the 6-inch body kits for $11.
Yeah. Since then, I think they've gone up to like 25, which is still a giveaway, but
That's cheaper than my fucking 4-inch slammed.
and they come with 2 top plates. So for the durability, you can actually stack those together and get a little bit more durability out of it. But yeah, there's lots of cool stuff you can do out there. And Chuck has been, I don't know if he just stumbled on it or if the brain started thinking or a combination of things, but he's definitely found some things that are interesting. Let me tell you something MD95 noticed the other week, and he already made it public, but I'm giving him credit. This was his discovery. You can take the alien arms and use them on the TBS Source 1 body. The holes line up perfectly. Now, I can't tell you why you wouldn't want to do that. I'm just telling you you can.
Why not?
We'll leave that one right there. Yeah, there's one of mine. I think I'm going to pull an MD and run it through the sink. She's a little dirty. See Sidewinder? How tall are the standoffs on that slam build, Chuck?
23 millimeters?
Oh, I thought they were 20.
No, they're 23, maybe 22, but I think 23. But it's still slammed as it gets because you put the arms on the inside, not on the outside.
True. I'll be honest, it was tighter than I thought it would be, but it's funny because my stack is just tight enough to where there's not a ton of extra room. Actually, I'm going to say there's no extra room, but everything fits in there without it being just squashed in.
Yes, Mike, that's basically exactly what we're talking about. Now imagine that, but slammed.
It is anymore, but not of the alien.
I like this. Bing.
Exactly.
Ooh, gratuitous ass shot from Josh.
Yeah, man. So this one here, she's my Easter build. Purple props, pink gutted paracord instead of snakeskin, yellow zip ties. Got my nice pink banged up. Can you guys see that? Oh yeah, I just about ripped her whole head off. She's solid, man. Check that out. It was a good day.
Vampire would be so jealous of that
Hey,
quad
look,
right now.
this prop sort of shows off, but this is actually one of the ones that's less gnarly. Dude, I landed with one. Here, I'm just going to bend this because it's already screwed up. When I landed, I suddenly realized why I had no grip in the air, no throttle control. It just felt really wonky. These things were like this. Joe picked it up, and it was like that on both sides. Joe was like, I don't even understand how it's airborne.
Sheer force of will.
Yeah, literally. Got the bumper going on, which actually gives just enough camera protection to the FPV camera that it's not running into things. Couple that with the fact that the camera kind of acts as a little bit of a barrier too. Man, this thing is, I'm stoked. You can see I'm already rubbing off my my washers, my cone washers.
Oh yeah. Mike, I remember that very clearly, brother.
And the arms are way more durable than I thought they would be, that being 4 millimeters.
See, Sidewinder, I wouldn't want to go 20 because I basically have probably 2 millimeters between the top of my stack screws and the top plate, so I'm good with that. They don't have to touch.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly like that. So
I mean,
I don't need any more
room to be comfortable and not overly squashed, but there's no extra play in there.
Yep.
Without squashing things. And the back, boy, all her junk is in the trunk.
Not mine. My builds are clean.
Clean, daddy-o.
But then again, I put my ESCs on my arms.
And I like my foreign ones.
It's not what I gotta. My screen is
Oh
cracked, so if I want to
God.
read something down there, I gotta put it up here. All right then. E-drones, random shit of the night.
I'm glad it's not just in our private venues.
Right? In our private chat, part of his name is random as fuck.
Chuck, did you see, to kind of change gears here, just because I want to make sure we at least touch on it, and since it popped in my head, did you see the post I shared about the FAA's initiative they launched yesterday?
No, I haven't been Facebooking in the past few days.
Oh, not a problem. So, for anybody who's not aware, now we don't want to just beat this up and drone it to death, but you guys know the FAA's been doing their thing. At least all of us submitted our comments. You know, we did our part. Some of us have mailed our senators and all. Well, now that there was like a week or 2 weeks in between that period where the public commenting period ended, the FAA opened up another comment period. But this one, they have pointed towards professional manned craft pilots. They want to know in all the ways that they think remote ID would benefit them in their day-to-day operations.
I bet you they get a bunch of answers that say a whole lot of nothing.
So far, they have had a few dozen pilots respond with, boy, that would have been nice to have the few times I had to dodge a drone. Things like that. But here's what I really want to challenge everybody with, and I'm saying this partly for myself because I struggle with this. My first recourse is to be belligerent and use deflection and any other strategy possible to try to just, change the focus. However, I really feel like education is a bigger part of this, and I think there's a lot of people that both professionally and otherwise, who don't have a lot of experience with remote aircraft. And I don't just mean piloting them, flying them the way we do, just in general, where we fly them, how we fly them, so on and so forth. I think a lot of these guys think that we spend just day after day with our drones flying, on runway approaches, 600 feet in the air, just waiting for aircraft to come by, which isn't even what we do.
Well, especially us, man. But they don't even know we exist. So
I know. And that's kind of my point because, you do have the DJI drones, right? Now, they already broadcast on one of those reporting channels. I don't remember which because it's not something I use. So they're already doing that. There's already visibility of those drones if they are operating the way they should be. Us, now we don't have anything, but if we were to show these guys that we spend more time flying below 50 feet, everything else, I think it would start to hit home that it's not us that's creating the problem. And by that, I don't want to just deflect and say it's the camera bird guys, go after them. What I want to do is say is look, I think we're going to end up with remote ID of some kind. But if we can get a broadcast-based solution, it's going to be far more manageable. You're not going to have the security implications. You're not going to have to pay for a subscription. You're not going to have an active internet connection. So you put all this together, right? It's much more ideal. And we can just resume business as usual, the end.
And you can fly where you want, for the most part.
Bingo. Minimize it. Now, in that thing I posted, in that post I made pointing back to the FAA article and pointing to the page where they are asking for those comments, Leprequad replied. He has recently been in contact, had face-to-face time with an FAA inspector or somebody who came to the airfield to kind of see what they were doing and see what they were all about. He was just out and about, we'll say, okay? Not there on official capacity. He had the opportunity to talk one-on-one with this guy very personally, and the guy's stance was, obviously, I can't speak for everybody in the organization, but I can tell you that in all the circles I run, we are not looking to shut down hobby aircraft. What we are looking to do is make the airspace a little bit more manageable. And more than anything, we want to make you guys visible to other aircraft so that, let's say, worst case, one of you is not where you're supposed to be. Instead of that thing getting sucked up into an engine and spit out the other side, we can avoid it. He's like, other than that, we really don't have any purpose or ulterior motive. Now, he also would not speak to the commercial lobby and all the efforts being made there to shut things down. But his stance was that the FAA, as far as he knew, was not trying to kill the hobby. And in fact, based on the comments that were received from the NPRM, there are going to be a lot of changes. What?
What's up, Double A?
Oh, Double A, brother.
Good to see you in
So
here,
anyway,
man.
I thought everybody would find that, some solace in that. By us as a collective people, period, providing our feedback, I feel like they were given some perspective. So in kind of retaliation of the old head AMAers that are leave the fixed wings alone, just go after drones, and the people that don't know any better, I feel like education has gone really far.
Yeah, good on Ben for capitalizing. That's Leprechaun, if you guys didn't know, on capitalizing on an opportunity like that. That was rad. I'd actually like to talk to him about that.
Do it, yeah. I'll tell you what else I thought was interesting. He said because of that conversation and because he feels like, the general stance is that they're not after us on a witch hunt, he's actually looking into becoming an FAA certified inspector or something. Or an FAA certified safety something. So essentially an ambassador for the hobby, but in official capacity with the FAA.
That's about as interesting shit as I've heard in about a month.
And very positive, too.
Yeah. Wow.
So we definitely, Ben is taking it upon himself to take things like that further, even though he's kind of dropped off with us. He's still very much alive in the Cowtown drone racing. He's still an organizer. He's still an avid racer. And apparently he is truly an ambassador for the hobby down there in his area.
He's going to be our inside man.
And more so, we'll find out if there's ways we can support some things he's doing too, whether it be or whatever. Anybody who's on our side, we can do something for.
That's right. Shout out to Cowtown Racing, baby.
Yep.
It's our boys down in Texas.
Fort Worth. I miss that guy. I've been thinking about, of course, this was before I got turned into a hermit. Maybe I'd get down there sometime and be able to see him for a day or two, but, well.
Dude, whatever, dude. I've been a hermit for 6 years.
Well, even though I have my moments of hermetism, if that's a word,
it is
being on the road kind of keeps things pretty active. Like this week, I was supposed to be in Orlando, so I'm pretty salty about that.
Yeah, you're better off at home. Miserable. Keep you where I can keep track of your actions.
I just want to fly some palm trees.
Make sure you don't freaking troll the wrong people.
Oh, too late for that. Totally agree in every way, Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
And I think when he talked about walking away, it had more to do with budget and family growth and really not sure what was going to happen or how to go about it. And since then, he's had some opportunities. Actually, him and Ashley both have had some opportunities. They've straightened some things out with work. They've had another child, and they've really kind of fallen into the parent balance, I'll say. So they're doing really good with it. Blech. Well, at one point, he was thinking that things were a little tight and he was going to be selling off his equipment, but he sat on it just long enough for some things to, to happen. And then he was really happy he didn't walk away.
Yeah, plus I'm pretty sure I told him I'd kick his ass if he sold his goggles.
That's because you guys did it as a gift.
Yeah, that's one reason.
Hey, nothing to be sorry about. Look, life first. We have a mantra in the FPV noob tube. Family first, you know, and everything else afterwards. You can't really put a solid order on it. You have to define your own priorities, but hobby is not number one. And in the event you do have to leave for a little while, you handle your shit, you get things together, and you come back. Everything will still be here when you get back.
All right, no, that was kind of funny, bro. I'll give you that one.
Uh huh. There's something else I wanted to.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not too lively tonight. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Plus, holding this gorgeous thing up, it gets heavy sometimes. It's a real strain.
No doubt. Maybe you need to grow out the back a little bit just to balance it.
I need a beard bra. Hey, give me my shit back, damn it.
Dude, that's awesome. I think one of my chats stopped scrolling. There we go. No, that's always great when that sort of stuff works out. So what did you find was the problem? Because last time I talked to you, you weren't 100% on what the problem was. And so I'm always curious.
She keeps bashing it into walls.
You got
expecting a different result.
Yeah, and with a wizard frame too, I think. You're only going to go so far with that. Okay, bad 4-in-1.
Yeah,
Well,
Mystery D, we've discussed your situation with your wizard, and basically we know you've replaced every single part a couple of times, and are just still nursing that frame along. Well, about the time that we all got to that point with our wizards, it's time to upgrade your frame, bro.
it's the last big thing.
It's time.
We have not tried the Runcam 5 Orange. Everything we know is from secondhand knowledge.
Yep. I have heard that the original Runcam, while being a pile of crap because it breaks if you blow on it wrong, actually has an aftermarket little hack you can do to it, software-wise, to get it to have something that is very much like SuperView. That's all I know.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah, for anybody who's concerned with it, you can do that. I think the 1440 wide also gets pretty close without having to monkey with anything. I'm still in the arena of SuperView is overrated. I think people spend too much time worrying about just using it without regard for what it's doing.
But it's such an awesome buzzword. Now, speaking of buzzword, there's a word in that little sentence that caught my eye. Josh, I don't know if you know what a dilly frame is. Have you heard of that?
I'm looking it up now.
You're going to find it in Facebook. Pretty much that's it. Unless he's gotten bigger. This is just a guy who decided that he was going to design his own frames. And he's got 3 or 4 different ones right now, racer style, freestyle. I forget their Dilly's just a name of one of the frames. Mm-hmm. And the only way that you could buy them is to be part of his Facebook group, and he posts when he has them available. Huh. And Dave actually turned me on to this Copper Top. And I thought about buying one, and he's constantly tweaking the design, putting in cooler things, dude, and he has some really good ideas about frame features that he does.
Yeah, I'm looking at his arm locking design. It looks like his arm ends. He definitely took inspiration from the Hyperlight line with the little fingers. I definitely see his inspiration.
Yeah, you got to look at the little features, man. The little tweaks that he's done are just like, the dude's real smart.
Yeah, the body's shortened. It looks like it's True X. Yeah. And he's using cone washers on it to help spread the load out. He's using lock nuts, which I really like. Or press nuts, sorry.
If y'all don't know, y'all are about to get a tip that we've talked about a bunch of times, but never really explained what we were talking about. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but maybe see it better on the frame, actually.
It looks comparable as far as internal space to the Alien 4 body.
Okay, these washers that you see right here, they're conical washers, right? You can get them for a few bucks on Amazon, like a bag of like 60 of them. These things will save your frame. I don't care what frame you're using. It spreads the load of crashes throughout the frame, especially when you have them like in a pattern like this with a bunch together. Really helps out. So I highly suggest y'all get up on Amazon and get some of those.
Very neat. Not a fan of his price point, but that's not knocking the guy or anything. I mean, look, I'm just saying I'm not a fan of his price point, but he's definitely not the highest out there.
Yeah, they're limited run frames, so it's kind of actually right about where it should be.
Yeah, that'll keep the price up a little bit too. I'll tell you what, though, he definitely goes into detail about why he's doing some of the things he's doing and the inspiration behind it, and does a real good job at explaining everything. He's got all the little details like the lipo pad, the Kevlar stitch straps, like, so he's got all these little things.
That's what I'm talking about, man. The guy is he's doing a good shit.
His spare parts aren't bad priced either.
No, and they become available often enough to make it so it's like a viable frame to use. It's not like it's that limited. And if you need something, you can just message him.
Very neat.
Right?
Okay. I've just bookmarked that. I'll have to come back to it later because I'm just sitting here tearing everything apart with my eyeballs, you know.
You're welcome, Noid. And as far as the conical washers go, Josh actually showed you guys earlier. He uses a smaller size of them on his motors, and he gets away with only using what, 2 screws? Well,
3. I'm a firm believer in 3 screws.
Likewise, but that also spreads the impacts throughout the end of the arm, so you're less likely to snap it at the motor hole.
Yes. And these are the same size. They're the same size as the ones down here, but I've done drug them across the asphalt.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a thing. I can't stop. Just like
they're good for that.
One is ground down, more than the other on the tip here, and
yeah, they're good. They're good for that.
All right, let's see what I'm missing in chat here.
I don't know. I haven't been reading it either.
Oh, nice.
Dylan Bish. Yeah, that's the guy who designs them, I believe.
Hence the Dylan.
Yeah, his name had been escaping me.
So, Sidewinder, I'm just catching up. I know I'm bouncing around here. The Runcam 5 Black, I think everybody agreed that it left some things to be desired. But the Runcam 5 Orange, all the feedback that I've seen is, of course, it's not a session replacement, but it is by and far the closest session replacement that people have really seen. And that's taking into consideration the Foxier box and everything, talking about weight. Now, durability is always in question because those run cams are only made of plastic. They're not watertight in any way. So they're only going to go so far with that. But for $100,
yeah,
I mean,
it's a good price point, that's for sure. These days, anyway. Real quick, Night Train, you're in the Dilly group, right? You still got a wrench, don't you? Can you give a link to the Dilly group, man, if you can? It's a private group, guys, so you have to ask to join, but at least last time I checked.
Yep, and I'll tell you what, there's a link to the Dilly Frames website as well.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know he had one, though.
Just in case we do have anybody in Facebook, it's going to look like I just posted this twice, but whatever.
There you go. I didn't even know he had it. Like, when I was looking into it, he didn't have a website. He was strictly selling it through the Facebook group.
Hey, no problem. we're always up for supporting the community. And that guy, I'll be honest, because I've bought some, I'll say one-off or smaller run frames before, but nobody's ever had a website put together from the time I was doing that. Even Bob Ruge, when I was buying his frames, I was buying them from PyroFlip, and then Ruge launched his own website. But
just look up M3 conical washers, man. They're M3.
I'll tell you what, his arms are chamfered and stuff. Oh my God.
Yep, detail, bro. I'm telling you. Who was asking that? Where'd it go? I don't know.
It looks like the top and bottom plates are not chamfered, which the biggest area that comes into play is for like strap durability more than anything. But if you know somebody who has a wizard has an alien fetish, chances are they have some files or rasps sitting around that they'd be available to share with you.
Yeah, I have about 100 of them.
You could legitimately make somebody's day with one of each of those.
It's not a bad idea.
Because that's the number one thing when it comes to chamfering. Sure, with the arms, it feels better when you grab them, but functionally, it doesn't serve a purpose. But where those straps go through, it makes a huge difference on that carbon not cutting through the strap.
Yeah, that's the only place that I do it. I don't bother chamfering my arms. There's no reason.
Yeah, I, on one frame, got all beside myself and decided I was going to do everything. And about the time I was halfway finished, I regretted it, but I still finished so that everything matched, and I'll never make that mistake again. There's a lot of freaking work. And everybody else is smart, and they like do it under a running sink or something. Not me. I'm like,
no, I don't. I open my window and I hold it out the window. But oh, Jesus Christ!
I'm already dying, so might as well help it along its way. God knows that the coronavirus doesn't do it the carbon will.
I don't bother with chamfering my arms. It would take too long.
Freaking ridiculous. I'm just going to keep my hoard to myself.
Yeah. I think mine's doubled in size since you got yours.
I think I've got 60 sitting.
Oh, you may have more than me. All right.
Do I?
I'm off to buy some more.
Well, because I knew the second I said that to anybody, it would turn into a contest, and then I just slipped. So now I can't win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got like 24 of the 6-inch arms left, and I've got maybe it's 50 or 52 of the other arms.
I don't understand it, but I'm laughing anyway, Mike.
I don't know what that means. Yeah, off-axis. That's what I was remarking. I'm not 100% on the arms needing to be mated in the center or that there's a ton of benefit to it. I'm not saying there's not. I just haven't experienced it enough to know if it really matters, but he's definitely got an interesting design. To his credit, there are no front or back left or right arms. They're all completely interchangeable, which is one of those points to detail that he gets a lot of credit for.
Mike has clarified.
Oh, good Lord. Da-da-da.
Context, Mike. Context. No.
And that would obviously be the purpose, Mr. ED. Because on the Alien, if you knock them around enough, they can get a little looser, and then you got to tighten them up. But there'll always be the potential, that little bit of wiggle, because they're not mated up. You know, when I say mated, the fact is, or meaning, holy crap, just forget it. See you guys next week.
Yeah, bye.
It's 10 o'clock and I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah, I'm the one without coffee this time. Woo. I disagree though. Loctite is a good thing.
Oh, I'm all about the Loctite. I forewent it last year, and I was always doing little checks to, you know, make sure everything was staying tight. No more.
Yeah, I haven't had a problem with wiggling alien arms. They break before that happens.
But yes, to clarify, I didn't mean like integrally mated, but the way that they butt up, they remove the possibility, or at least they help with removing play, even after crashes and compression and things like that. Bro,
Off axis, it's gonna make for a stiffer frame. I'll give you that.
and because, you know, a brand new frame that hasn't been crashed has a pretty good chance of being put together pretty tightly and flying well. Where it really comes in is after a couple crashes to be able to maintain that tightness.
Couple crashes. That's my first pack.
That's what I'm saying. What's going on, Blizz?
Blizz sickos. You got it right there, motherfucker.
Not yet, but when it happens, I'll send everybody some mail.
Yeah, hey, we closed the border to you, fucker. So fuck. No more Canadians up in here.
I miss my poutine.
Right.
I'm all about that gravy.
Trump be like, kill Canada.
So, Mike, when it comes to Loctite, I've been using Loctite on my standoff screws, the ones that go through the bottom of the frame, and on the motors. And then I also run stack screws, a series of 4 stack screws up all the way through the bottom plate. And I use it on the nuts that I tighten those too, but I don't use it on the top because chances are I'm going to be getting in and out of there.
Huh?
Okay, you've lost me again. Truth.
I mean, hell,
So
soft mounting actually locks things in on its own. You'd be less likely to even need freaking Loctite, but
if you do it right.
Yeah.
But soft mounting, I think, has been proven by and large to kind of just be snake oil. Not for the stack, but for the motors. Now, on the larger drones, it comes in and plays a huge difference.
I don't know. I use it on everything except for the top plate.
Oh, I was talking about soft mounting.
Oh, Loctite.
Because, yeah, I use Loctite on everything except the top plate screws.
Yeah, I don't really do skids. Never have. What I do use is the foam that everybody hates because it always comes off. Sorry, I'm next to a freeway. And electrical tape around it, like 3 wraps. It's good. It slides a little bit and it lasts forever. It never rips off.
Fair expounding, Mr. ED. That's exactly what I was trying to say. But I did not say.
I don't soft mount, but I do tend to put some of those arm guards that basically is a soft mount on my 2 front arms, just because I wear them down so fast. Gives me a couple extra flights.
Oh, that's one of the things I wanted to mention. Brain 3D has moved into resin printing.
Resin? Oh.
He sent out a batch of Hyperlight, they're racing frames, some canopies, and they are proving to be exponentially more durable than extruded 3D printed TPU.
Well, yeah, bro, it's not layers anymore. It's solid.
Yes.
Dude, that is I will sit there and watch shit being printed and fast forward out of one of those extruder fucking ones, man, because that shit looks cool. That's like the Terminator being born, the one that changes shapes. All right, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in our chat.
But yeah, so, I don't know. I was looking, and the cost of resin printers is exactly the same as extruders. And if and when I get into it this year, that will probably be the direction I go.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? Especially since they're coming down in price.
Right.
They were ridiculously expensive not that long ago, but they've made smaller ones now, and yeah.
And the resin was limited. Like there wasn't a ton of options for resin in the flexible market. And now they do have some good options.
Yeah, I can't wait to have one of those prints in my hands and just caress it and lick it. I mean, yeah.
Some types of resin are flexible. So basically, the same way with extruded filament, you've got like your PETG, your PLA, your what's that other one? ABS. And you've got some different nylon variants. You've got
PLA.
the same type of thing in resin where you have varying amounts of either stiffness or flexibility, but across the different brands, they're highly different. So what some people what some resin manufacturers are selling as one formula is very different from another company's formula that's supposed to be comparative. So you really got to be careful with that.
Yeah, basically, it's such a new thing that there is no conformity in products across the industry with it yet.
Well, it's still that way with filament because I can buy 3 different rolls of TPU that are rated the same, and one is super gummy, the other is a little stiffer, and the other one is, somewhere in between.
Yeah, I've seen that. But as far as I know, the whatchamacallit, the new kind, um, it also has to do with how much UV you're using, because UV light is what sets it off, and the way you do it, it's basically infinitely customizable as far as hardness and durability and whatever features you want that should have.
That's also interesting because, when it comes out of the printer, it's not fully set. And so then it has to go into like a curing time in a curing area. And what some people are doing is they're just letting it cure in a windowsill in the sun.
Yep.
I don't know. I just find the whole process, when you look at how it works, I don't know, it's kind of fascinating to me, but how smooth all that stuff comes out. Like, you don't have the problem with what do you call that? Bridging and ledging. You don't have problems with stringing. Like, all that stuff goes out the window. You don't necessarily have problems with, layer adhesion. Like, it's a totally different animal. And for what we do, I see nothing but benefits.
Yeah, it's not layers. That's what makes it so cool. It is not layers at all.
Right.
You'll have to be more specific. DuPont plastic shit doesn't ring a bell.
Well,
You Googling DuPont plastic shit? Word for word.
I'll tell you the company that I see the most when it comes to resin, as far as getting really good prints, like the way people expect with what they're buying. And that's Elegoo or whatever it's called. That company has come leaps and bounds. They're definitely taking over the market with their resin offerings, from what I can see.
Yeah, well, I live in a truck, so I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, you just need to mount it to your bunk. Then you can print while you're driving.
Yeah, that'll work out real good.
Especially with a vat of resin. Slosh.
Should be all over the place.
Dude, you would be infinitely bed leveling. Like there's just no.
No, I can't. No.
You'd have to soft mount your printer.
Yeah, a little more than that. I drive what's known as a freight shaker. So yeah.
That's all right. Those of us will hold you down. We know how the mail works, and we know how to get stuff to you.
Nice.
All right. Well, that's the majority of what I had this week. You know, we like to touch base with you guys and talk about some of the big things. Keep in mind and keep your eyes peeled for the FAA stuff. They are now on their second round. And again, just a reminder, remember to try to not be confrontational.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Keep emotion out of it and take the opportunity to educate somebody. You can even do that with your own videos. Now, don't post a video of you flying, over active traffic. Pick the one of you flying under a canopy of trees and through a barn and, just illustrating that outside of the stuff we don't want them to see, this is what we normally do. So, which honestly, I say that facetiously, very nice. I
love his name. That's so rad. I know he's been here before, but I just love that shit. It makes me giggle.
Well, it has a whole new meaning now. But yeah, just take the opportunity to be an ambassador for the hobby. And if you see me doing otherwise and trolling the fuck out of somebody,
play along.
I will do my best.
Yeah, if you see Josh trolling people, just play along.
Well,
it's worth it every time.
You can do that too. All right, guys. Well, keep posting stuff. Now that the weather's coming back, I'm really going to be on the lookout for your videos. So make sure you're sharing them in the FPV NoobTube Facebook community. Make sure you're getting them around in the other communities. If you upload anything to Instagram, make sure you tag us in it. We love to see that stuff. Even your short stuff can be very interesting. Sometimes more so because we don't have to wait 4 minutes to see it.
Right? And also, what's that other one we're in? The chat that I never use.
Oh, Discord. I've been making an effort to be in there more.
Yeah, I turned on my notifications, guys. So if you guys want to chat in Discord, I'm gonna try and make myself more available, and we'll talk as much shit as humanly possible.
There you go.
We also have a place in our Discord where you can spam the fuck out of your videos if you want.
Agreed. All right, guys. We will catch you in another 2 weeks, and we'll be looking out for you in between.
Enjoy your Corona apocalypse.